All right, so the recording is started right now. So I'm recording using Zoom. If you ever wanted to, you can go, and I'm actually going to write on the agenda. Let me make sure I got the address right. It's conferzoom.org. Conferzoom.org. I have been playing this application for the last 2 semesters, and I am absolutely in love with this. And if you go to conferzoom.org, you can sign up for a free pro account, because Zoom is the actual product, and CC Confirm worked a deal with them, so they call it ConferZoom, and so therefore pro product is there, and you can conduct meetings. You can. I've done a lot of support where you don't have to come to my office, where you can be at the home on your own computer, and you can do meetings and stuff like that. If you have to go to Cuyamaca, you don't have to do. I mean, if you could convince whatever committee you're on to use this product, everybody could be in their rooms, and they don't have to go to Cuyamaca or all these other places. And plus, this is great for Michael Stewart's adopted this. I think he's doing. A lot of people are using this for their office hours with students as well. And they have an iPhone and Android app, so you. So you see right now, I'm using Zoom right now. Yeah. So right now, I could have, in the announcement, we gave you a link to the Zoom. You could be in your office and here, and then you could be, like your account would appear right under my face. And you could be in your office listening to this presentation. And you can add chat and everything else. It's on the phone, iPhone, Android. In fact, I was just making sure you weren't saying this place for office hours for faculty. So. No, they're using this for office hours. Well, they'll both. They'll come on campus. They'll do a Zoom, and if a student can't make it to campus, they can join online. Okay. So it's a free tool. It's highly, and like I said, I'm recording this one. So any lectures that I do, I'm recording. They're up on YouTube. So when you're at a conference and you can't make it, you'll never miss a lecture or anything. Yeah, this is perfect. I mean, for full-time faculty, they have to do their I recommend it. So conferzoom.org. Highly recommend you take advantage of it. All right, let's go over the agenda today. So we're going to go over some basic things. I'm sure a lot of you went over watched the first orientation. If not, we're going to go over some basic things on the Canvas user interface and some things I do and how I navigate this course to make things a lot easier for me. I'm going to talk about announcements. Also, we're going to go over notifications. As you start working in Canvas, there's some key things about notifications that you need to know for the course that you teach, along with a lot of the other things that you're involved in. You might be enrolled in somebody else's course as an evaluator or something else. So we'll make sure we'll set your notifications up correctly. Also want to make sure that you submit the correct link for the for the 1.4 edit profile assignment. Navigate the Canvas discussions so they don't feel as overwhelming. And we're also going to talk about Unit 2. We're going to prepare you for that for the following week. That's our agenda today. And like I said, with our small group today, we should be good to go for about the next hour. And since it's such a small group, if you have any questions regarding it, please raise your hand and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. All right, first thing I want to talk about is notifications. So if you are logged into Canvas using Google Chrome, let's go to the accounts and then notifications. Now, as a review with notifications, there is 4 ways you can be notified. Notify me right away with a check mark. Send daily summary with a clock. So usually that'd be like around at like 5 o'clock at the end of the day. Send weekly summary. I believe at the bottom of the page it says from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. on Saturday. And then don't send me anything as with the X. I'm going to go over these a little more specifically. The most important ones, as far as in relation to this course that I have set up for mine, is with the announcements right here. I say, notify me right away. You want to receive, that's the main way we're going to be communicating with you in this course. And this is the main way you'll be communicating with the entire class of your students when you're teaching in your course. So you want to have that, and you want to make sure this should be already set by default. And then announcement created by you, that should be set to notify me right away. But there's a caveat for that. I'm actually going to go into a Canvas course right now. So you don't follow on my screen. I'm going into a course that's already concluded. This was the first Canvas training course we started for the fall semester. These are all the announcements I've made. If you notice, there's a couple right here, and you notice as these load, there's some more right here. Here's one that's a big one. Did you get this announcement? And I think you guys did this in the first one here too. In Blackboard, when you post an announcement, students couldn't reply. It's just a static announcement that stayed there. However, in Canvas, they treat it like an actual discussion. And as you can see, other instructors, I asked them, did you get this announcement? It's important. And other instructors went ahead and replied to it. That's set on by default. And if you wish to keep it on by default, then this announcement created by you should be set to notify me right away, so that if you make an announcement, replies to the announcements you've created, you'll get a notification on that. So you're talking about, Tina, you have the finals are coming up on December 15th, and I send you a question, and I reply to that announcement asking you, hey, I have a doctor's appointment or something like that, you'll get that notification. Now, for the video and everything else, if this is something that you do not want students to reply to the announcements. Some instructors don't, because they kind of feel like too many places for community. I got to do the discussion boards, I got to do the conversation inbox, too many places to manage all these communications. You can go to your settings in your course. So in your course that you would be teaching, settings, and under the course details tab, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there is a link here that says more options. If you are to click on this link, there is a link at the very bottom here that says disable comments on announcements. If I check that, and then say update course details, no student will be able to comment on any announcements. So I personally like it here because it addresses the issue and I can communicate with my students, and I know it's an easy way that students are actually getting my messages. So I personally would recommend leaving it on. While we are on this options, let me go over a few of these. We only went over one of them in the last time that we met. And there's some other good points here that we should cover that I don't normally cover in any other course that I've taught. The first option that we have here, and this wouldn't apply to instructors teaching a course. This would apply more to maybe to a department or division, or Mike, when it comes to you, when you're trying to enroll people for your accreditation box. You could also let students self-enroll with a secret URL. And if I went ahead and said, so I click on this option right here and I said, let students self-enroll, I'd say update course details. Right. This wouldn't be for quote unquote Grossmont students. I'm talking about Mike Reese here, who's the Dean of Planning and, sorry, it's just EPI. He wants to use Canvas as a way to coordinate accreditation options. So now I'm thinking of Tina as you as a chair, maybe for a department thing or like that. If you want to do, because before, like in Blackboard, trying to enroll like other faculty members into it was always an issue. But here, if you wanted to have a container or a sandbox that you wanted people to have enroll in, you could give this link out, and as long as they had a Canvas account, they could go in and then sign up via this link. It would be a really easy way to get all of your people And,
Yeah, I had it. My program, that was a nightmare to get people to like that.
So this sounds really easy, but if they send the link to somebody else, then that person knows.
technically, yeah, you'd have to make that very clear. But I mean, also, as we sit here and go through it, you and I mean, we can monitor that, and you can make sure and monitor what we need to remove and everything
Well,
else.
once somebody enrolls, you'll see them in there.
Right. Yeah. They'll be under the people section. When you people, you'll see all the people that enroll. I'm going to uncheck that because I don't want everybody there. We showed the show recent announcements on the course homepage. This should be checked. So as you can see in the actual course, all the announcements up here, this should be an option that allows that to be there. Otherwise, students will never see any announcements that you make. 3's been perfect for me. 3's been perfect for me. Let students attach files to discussions. That's dependent on you. If you have any students wanting to attach a Word document or anything else. Let students create discussion topics. That they can reply to your discussion. So usually the way you have it, if you reply to the introduction post in this course, that's the topic that I made. Please introduce yourself, 3 truths and a lie. If you're doing this, you're allowing students to create more topics on your own instead of replying to your initial prompt. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I would not let that be available. You want to let students edit and delete their own discussion posts, of course. And then the rest are just, if you're doing groups, grade summary, and all these other ones are okay. We can leave any of these off. There's none of these major concerns ones. The main one is show recent announcements if you want to do self-enrollment for a department or division sandbox or for any other special occasion, and then the discussion topics. Okay. So those are kind of the more options that you want to sit here and think about for your course. Going back to the notifications, all right? So the most important ones, so discussions, this is a new discussion topic in your course. This one is, I mean, at least as long as from my course, there is I'm not creating any new discussion topics. All the discussion topics are already created. You could sit there and turn that one off. You could say, don't notify me. Discussion posts, these are important. So this is a new discussion post in a topic you're subscribed to. I say, notify me right away. Why do I say that? The assignment, so most of our discussions that we have in the course, it's you reply to my prompt, the instructor, and then you're supposed to reply to 2 of your students' responses. And that's a typical thing that everybody's done with Blackboard and everything else. However, if Tina, at the beginning of, let's say, the Unit 2, which starts next week, takes the initiative over the weekend to get ahead and posts right away, well, there might not be any other students that actually replied, so she doesn't have anybody to reply to. So if this is turned off, or send daily summary, send weekly summary, you might not know when Mike comes in or anybody else comes in to actually reply. So that would be a good notification to sit there and have to. And it's for a discussion post that you're subscribed to. So once you have met your 2 comment requirement, you can unsubscribe to that post and you won't be able to get anything.
I'm thinking as an instructor, I definitely don't want to get notified when students are replying to a thread. I'd rather just write it when I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I can speak for this class how it would be helpful.
A lot of times, some instructors, I took mine out, but a lot of instructors used to have like a Q&A forum. Kind of like it would the idea was, and I tried to do this, was to have you have an open question if a student would hopefully be able to answer that as a public thing. That was the only thing I subscribed to. But most faculty members just ended up messaging me in the conversations inbox, so I ended up ditching that one. But when we're talking about discussions and everything else, and I'm pretty sure that these do these by default, that if that's turned off, it's either that one or you have that subscribe. As long as you're not subscribed to a specific one, you're not gonna get any notifications. The most important ones that I would sit there and also say is added to a conversation. I would say notify me right away. And then new inbox messages, notify me right away. Conversations created by me, I turn that one off. Another one that's important, and this one is for your course as well, the submission comments. For instructors, that should be notify me right away. By default, it should say send daily summary. I say send submission comments because when you submit an assignment, and I don't know if you did if you did the outline assignment, you will see they had the file upload and there was a little box there that said comment. You could write your comments. The second time that I taught this course, I had that as send daily summary. Here's the problem. Faculty members were sending me assignments, and with their assignments, they had legitimate questions about that assignment. And sometimes it resulted in something that they did wrong, that they were confused about, and I needed to help them correct it. But considering that I said send daily summary, I only get one email a day out of the 200-300 that I get every day, and I missed those. So by the time I waited till the end of the week to grade stuff, I was in a pinch because I didn't get back to them in time, and if I would have, they would have had a chance to correct everything, and you see the snowball. So I would say submission comments, turn on. Those are the key ones that I would sit there and say that you would need. The rest of them, they're optional. You could turn them off, and that would be up to you and how you would want to handle it. But the ones that I gave you are probably the most important ones that you would need to be concerned about. Also, if we know, I'm going to go under settings real quickly. I'm going to move over here. Ways to contact. Your default email address is the email address that is on your WebAdvisor account. Now you could either, if you wanted to use an alternative email address for Canvas, you have two options. One, you would either change the email address on your WebAdvisor account, but you might not want to do that considering all the other business that you do here on the college. Two, you could add another email address if you wanted to. So this is my personal email address right here. And then if I wanted this as a default, I could send that as a default. Then all of my Canvas notifications would go to that email address, not the one that's on my WebAdvisor account. You also have the option, I don't really recommend this, but you have the option of adding your mobile number here as well. Actually, I'm going to actually delete mine off of here. Everybody, you all have my number now. But I tried that because you get push notifications on your phone. But the thing was, I kept getting ding, 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 ding. And I have 4 other instructors that I'm managing on this that are teaching other courses. It was a nightmare. What I recommend, though, if you have an iPhone, Android phone, download the Canvas for Teachers app off the App Store. They have push notifications, and they're unintrusive. So meaning I don't get the ding, 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 ding off my phone. I'll just go through and I see in my notification list all the people that I've notified, and it doesn't bug me. But also, I get notifications. I know what's going on in my Canvas course at all times, especially with the other instructors that I'm actually working with.
Is that app the best way to go in and do grading and stuff from your phone?
For 1 week. Now, it's not, creating content is a little different. I still recommend this because I know a couple of instructors tried to do this because they tried to do it on the iPad and Android phone. So creating and managing content, laptop or computer. Oh, yeah. Sure. However, for 2 weeks, I did a test and I did everything as far as grading and participating with students on my phone. And I was able, with the assignments that I have, might be different for the type of assignments that you might do in your course, but I was able to do it on my phone, no problem. Really easy. They also have an app called Canvas for Students. So they have a student, an instructor, and a parent app. Now, here's one thing, since we're talking about the mobile apps, we don't have any support on campus for that right now, and Janet and I are kind of debating on training, like issues like grade books and other items are going to become more of an issue right now. So if you get any questions regarding mobile app and how to download it or how they work, or if you want the help help location right here. And then you say search the Canvas guides. On the Canvas guides, there is a link here that there's a box here that says mobile guides right here. From that, and then they have guides for it. So the Canvas app, this is the Canvas student app, and then you're the teacher app. So if you wanted to learn about the teacher app, that's you. But the Canvas app, that would be for students, and then they have an iOS and they have an Android guide. I would point students to either one of those.
I check my Felix 50-year-old grades every day on this Canvas.
So that's, you use a Canvas parent.
I guess it is. It looks like the. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they use Canvas at Felix?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're going over contact information more, but Diane sent me a message or something like this, and I don't know what I need to do. So I do have
This is in regards to the profile section, and she mentioned that to me here. So within the profiles, there's a little issue that I have with this as well, and I've mentioned this to Canvas. I'm going to edit my profile real quickly. So you can see with my profile, I can add my picture. This is for the profile assignment, add a picture, I can add my title. But they talk about contact information, and I can't add an email address or a phone number. And the reason why they do this is Canvas is really overprotective. They really adhere to FERPA, the FERPA laws as far as they maintain privacy. So when you go to the settings page like this says, and I go to the settings page, when they talk about contact information, they talk about these services that you want to add. If you want to do Skype, LinkedIn, Twitter, those are the main ones that you that you would have here as far as contact. Those are the type of services that if you entered your credentials in, would be right here. So that's not really true contact. That's more social media, so to speak. So what we're saying is that any contact information, whether it's the conversations inbox or if you feel any email or phone number or anything else that you want to add, you can add it to your biography.
Okay. Diane wrote a note that I need to include my contact preferences and contact information. So do that under biography.
Mm-hmm.
And then she said I need to include the conversations inbox tool, but I don't.
Now that's what you would just say reference, get a hold, because we're kind of saying the conversations inbox is what we're using here, and we're trying to push that as most. If you don't want to use that, you don't have to. But she was saying if the best way to contact me, please use the conversations inbox. You can, because that's the most easiest way. You don't really necessarily have to give your email address.
I guess my biography is probably too long. I have all the way at the end of my biography, I have my contact information is, I have my email, my phone number, and then I list my office, where my office is.
Mm-hmm.
I should do that to the top.
Yeah, all of that to the top. And then most importantly, when you're dealing with contact information, it's not only that, what I also want to see is not only how do I contact you, how long is it going to take for you to get back to me?
Got it. Okay.
That's the most important part.
But the conversations inbox tool, I'm not sure I understand what that is, or maybe I just have to go back.
What she's talking about here is, so when I can sit here and show, I can show on mine. So if we're looking up on my screen, on the global navigation, I'm talking about this tool right here. The messaging feature within Canvas is just stellar, and Blackboard doesn't even come close to what they provide here in Canvas. And when she's talking about the conversations inbox, she's talking about this section right here.
Okay.
So when I compose a new message, I'm clicking on the fig leaf up at the very top, and then I can select a course, and I could say CTF4, and then I can say, Tina, your name will pop up. I don't ever see your email address, and I can send you a message. It will go to your Canvas inbox, and it will also go into your email inbox. You don't have to be in Canvas to reply to this message. You can reply via email, and I'll still get it in my Canvas inbox and in my email. So we have a conversation. So that's the conversations inbox as far as the tool that we're trying to show you how to communicate with. And that's what we're saying as far as, and that's what she's referring to, is just use the conversations inbox tool as a way to contact me.
Okay. That's not something, I don't have to add information. It's assignment 1.4, I don't have to explain what that is or something.
Well, what she's saying, so what we're having here, let me go in the actual course.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. This is what we're here for. So going into, let me go into the actual course, not the old one. Going into CTF4, if I go into the syllabus right here, you could steal, if you had it, you know, all you would need, what she's referring to is just basically steal this. It says, if you have a personal question, please contact me using the conversation tool within Canvas. You can access the conversations via the inbox link in the global menu. All right. And then what's here is I'm including a link to the conversations inbox tutorial. It has a 5-minute video that shows you how to, what I just explained to you as far as how to use it.
Would it be best if I put that in my biography or actually in the course itself?
That's one thing is where I'm going to sit there and influence. I mean, I'm going to sit there and reiterate that all over the place. Because right now with evaluations and stuff like that, and with the DE subcommittee, which hopefully will be a DE committee soon, they're really pushing the regular effective contact policy. So the more you can make it obviously clear on how students can communicate with you and how you can communicate with your students, the better.
And we are talking about every class, not only the online one.
Every. That you're using Canvas with. So if you're face-to-face instructor using Canvas to supplement your course, or an online or hybrid instructor. But if I have a face-to-face that's not using it, or is using their website or some other service. But obviously, I mean, in general, a regular effective contact policy, some way to know that regardless of whether the tool I'm using, how do I get a hold of you and how are you getting back to me? That's important. Now, I want to emphasize something now that we're on the profile here. Since we have our profile, Unit 1 work is due by this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And I know there's a few people that haven't submitted their assignment yet. With the profile here, so I've edited, let's pretend I've edited my profile, I've done all my stuff, I'm ready to submit the assignment. Typically what instructors will do, or what faculty will do, is they'll copy this address. What does this address say? Let me copy it, and let me paste it here so we can see it. So that address, it says gccccd.instructure.com/profile. They'll submit that for the assignment. Here's the problem. As the instructor, if you give me that link, and if I click on it, it takes me to my profile. And if this is submitted, it's an automatic 0 for the assignment, and I don't want to see that happen. So here's how you get the correct address. Go into the CTF4 course. Click on your people link. Click on the people link, and then locate your name. So once we find a name here, there's me, I find me, so there's my name here. Here's a unique address up here. I'm going to copy this. Now, if you give me this address, not specifically, but your unique address, because it says, this is /course, this is the course number of what we're in right now. Users, I'm user number 35. That will point me to whatever your number is, that will point me to your host. That's a correct assignment or URL submission. I want to make sure you understand that. Submit the profile link. It's incorrect. Submit to me the course with the users with a unique user's ID, and we're good to go. That's for the 1.4 edit profile assignment. Now, in terms of navigation, hello, Brian.
Hey, sorry.
That's all good. We're at 1:38. We started at 1, so when I get the video open, you just need to watch up to 1:38, and then you'll be good to go. Right now, I'm kind of giving a tip on navigation right now, because there's some things that I found that were a little challenging when I first started this course. Let's say I'm navigating. I'm a faculty member. I'm taking this course. I'm in CTF4. I'm in the Unit 1 assignment, and I'm reading this. Now, pay attention to what happened here. So I'm on the modules page now. And I couldn't, let's pretend, I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on 1.3 instructional content. And I've already done this. I realized, no, I've already done this. Now, look at where it took me. It took me back to pages right here. So I'm out of my modules. So a lot of times I'd have to go back to the modules, and then I'd have to go through and find out where I'm at, and it's kind of annoying. So what I do in Canvas, I have my main tab, which is my home base. I call it my home base. And when I'm working on when I'm looking at the course or navigating the course, I hold down the control key and then I left click. Now, watch what I do when I hit the control key, left click, it opens up in a new tab. So I can do whatever I want here, and then I click on the tab and then I'm back to where I started. It makes it so much, as you get deep, especially when you start building content in your course and everything else, it makes it so easy. When I'm sitting here, I hold control, I can show you information here, close this out, and then I'm back to where I'm going. Control and then left click. Hold down control, left click.
I've been like opening Canvas like 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do it.
It just makes it so much easier to navigate. Let's see. Let me talk about, maybe some points on the course. I took some review. I did a quick review on some of the outlines that have been submitted. I want to do a quick review of the 0.7 Create a Course Outline assignment, which is also due by this Sunday, by 11:59 p.m. So for this assignment, the purpose of the 0.7 assignment is going to get you in preparation for Unit 2, Course Design and Development, where you will be creating 2 modules in a Canvas course. And this will be your blueprint. So for this module, all we're doing is 2 modules here. And we want to keep it as simple as we possibly can. So when we're thinking here, when we're looking at my outline here, these are 2 modules that I have here, Getting Started Orientation, and then Unit 1, Introduction to Canvas. And then I have all my items organized in sequential order. So when you're thinking of modules, you can either organize it by the same topic or theme as I have it here, or if you think in terms of chronological order, you could do it on a week-to-week basis. It's up to you. Now, for my content items, there's 3 main things that I sit here and go through. I say the numbering convention, clear and descriptive titles, and the context label. All of these items are extremely important in creating your outline. Let's talk about the numbering convention. The numbering convention here is not in a traditional form on what you would teach in a class on how to create an outline, so to speak. These are just here to label each element so you can locate it and know where they belong in different parts of your course. So, for example, 0.6, is this your first online class? This is Module 0, item number 6. If Tina called me and said, Chris, I'm having issues with 1.7 discussion, I know she's automatically referring to Module 1, item number 7. So when you're creating your modules, just do them in sequential, or we don't have to do the 1A and do like some people were doing sub things and everything else. Just do it in order. And the reason why I say this too, as far as when we're looking at organization, here's a problem that I'm going to have to deal with someday in this course. If you look at my pages or my content pages section, you can sit here and see where the benefit of this numbering convention comes in. Over here, I have all the list of these numbers here. So right now, with this one, this is 3.3. I automatically know this is on communication. This is Module 3. It's in regards to communication, tools within Canvas. And that's item number 3, instructional content. We're looking down here. I have an item here. We have 2 items here that are labeled 4.8. Module 4 is assessment in Canvas. This is item number 8. This is assignment. These are documents that relate to this option. So as you can see here, without even me thinking, because of my numbering convention, I automatically know where each piece goes within my course. Now here's a problem that comes in. As you can sit there and scroll down, you can see I have a long list of items here. I have no idea where they belong, because I didn't start this numbering convention until the 3rd time I started teaching this course. So there's some point in time where I'm going to have to figure all of this out, and it's work that I don't want to deal with. I'm going to have to. But it's also work that I don't want to see you deal with 6 months, 8 months, 12 months down the road. Because you'll be in the same boat that I am, unless you number everything properly within your course. So in doing your outline with the numbering convention, please just do it very simply and easily and straight order. Also, when I sit there and see, I try to establish context. You know, a lot of people, you'll sit there and say content is king. I kind of disagree with that. I usually say context is king. When I've seen people create their modules, they'll just say lesson 1, assignment 2. What does that mean? What is lesson 1? What is assignment 2? You know, there's no meaning there. So I try to sit here and put Canvas face-to-face. Read. So this is my schedule for, this is assignments, is telling me about the schedule that you have each week. And it's an item I want you to read. Or instructional content, as I make it clear in the syllabus. Every time I label something here, this is your required reading that I want you to read. You have a graded assignment. You know, edit profile, that's your graded assignment. So I establish the context, and I also establish what you need to do, or what this element actually is. And this not only benefits the student, but it benefits you as well. I was doing a workshop on last Friday, and I was going over this concept, and we were doing hands-on works for faculty members, just doing a face-to-face. Lady created an assignment, and I told her the same thing. Added it to her modules. She added it to her modules, but she didn't do the context. And so she had some problems that she asked me to help. And when I went to go back to her page, I said, well, okay, well, where's the assignment? She couldn't find it. She had no idea. She totally forgot where it was. But if she had it labeled graded assignments, it's easier. It would have been a lot easier for her to figure it out. Also, here's one thing where the numbering convention and the context really really hit home with me. And you will see this when you start your Module 2 assignment. When you're adding content items to a module, typically what you would do is you would click on the plus button here, and this comes up. Now, in the beginning, like I said, for the first 2 times I taught this course, I never did the numbering convention. Also, I didn't have the context here. So pretend these numbers are not here. You see how hard it would be for me to actually sit here and remember, okay, how is this order going to work out? But with the numbering convention here, this is easy. Okay, this is module 1.4, 1.5. All of this stuff, I can figure this out. It's easy. I can think about it. Without even thinking about it, I can add this stuff to my course. Same with content pages. When I'm looking at content pages here, I want to add all these pages. It's easy for me to be able to sit here and go through. Now, when I go through, see the problem I have here? As I have all of these items here, I know this is unit 0, item number 4. These all have a place here. But when I start getting down here, you know, you'll see some items here that don't have any numbers. I have no idea where these go. And that's something that I'm going to have to figure out. I don't want to see you go through that. So that's with the 0.7 assignment. That outline, again, is going to come into play when you start working on the 2.5 Create a Module assignment, which starts next week, which will be this assignment here. So far, are there any general questions that we have? Anything I've covered? Pretty straightforward. Let's go. Let's see on the introductions here. I want to go over 1.7. Has anybody made any contributions here yet? There are 9 people. We're talking about the discussions here, and I'm actually going to switch gears. I'm going to go into another course, because I know there's a lot more discussions here. I'm going to go into the CTF1. This is my course that I just taught recently. I'm going to go to a past discussion because there's a lot more there than they are in the current one. So right now at the top here, you can sit there and see there's a total of 68 posts, top right-hand corner, 68 posts, 65 of them I have not read. I mean, I did read them, but it's not just typically when they're going through here, because when you sit there and go through, you notice with the name here, Randy, this is white, so I'm white. And then as you come down, Patricia, that's blue. That's a sign that I didn't read it. But when I graded them, I did read it. But this isn't, so now I sit there, mark it, now it's red. And
Oh,
then,
so you can read, but it doesn't mark for you.
Right, right. Now, a couple things here with the discussion. One thing I want to note here, it was kind of confusing with me when you're working with discussions. Notice with Randy here, his icon is really big. You note that somebody is replying to Randy when their name is indented and their little icon is really small. So you know that that's an actual post here. And as I'm scrolling down through here on the posts and stuff, then I continue going. This is all posts. This is all to Randy. This is all Randy. And then Alan comes here, new post. That was a hard thing for me to figure out, even as an instructor trying to navigate through all of this. Also, when I'm sitting here and I'm navigating this, especially as an instructor, but even you as you're looking through this as a student, the very first thing that I do if I'm reviewing these discussions in here, I'm going to collapse all the replies. And then so I can sit there and navigate. It's so much easier for me to navigate through all of these. And then I can zero in and focus on, okay, I want to look at Jennifer Carming's post. Now, here's also, this is one thing that I made a mistake on, which really drove me nuts. Typically, if I want to sit there and I click on Jennifer, I click on right here. If I click on right here, it's not going to take me to her post. It's going to take me to her profile. And I don't want that. It took me a while before I sat here and I went through the posts. When I collapse a post, notice when I hover over it, there's a triangle here. If you want to see, expand this one, you can't click right here. You have to click on the triangle right here, and then it actually exposes and opens the actual post. These are more comments for you as a student as you navigate this course for the next 5 weeks, 4 weeks. No, 5 weeks. But as an instructor, let me go back to that thing here. I'm going to show you the grades here real quickly. Let me go to that discussion. And it shows up here. So this is how the discussions show up in here. And this is how I normally read them. So I go through here, and if I ever wanted to see the full discussion, I would just click on full discussion. And it would take me to the actual post. But I would actually go through this discussion and go through that, and then I would just go through the next instructor, and I could see all their posts, and that's how I read everything. And it was a really easy way for me to really breeze through the discussions. But for as a student, I would come in here, collapse all of them, and then if there's anybody that you want to sit here and 0-1 on, you can click on and open them that way. I wanted to just share on that one. And then, like I said, you subscribe to something, you just get notifications, so you complete 2 posts, and then once you're done with that and you've completed your 2 posts, you replied to me, you replied to your students, you can click on subscribe, so you wouldn't get any more notifications on that. That's how you would deal with discussions. Now, we're doing pretty good on time today. Let's give an overview on Unit 2. So for next week, starting next week, it's Unit 2. The first thing that you're going to be doing is for next week, Unit 2 starts off, we're going to be learning how, this is where the core of the work starts going. We start learning on how to actually create content within Canvas. You're going to learn how to create a module, which is important because that's the core foundation of your course. All coursework is going to be filtered through the modules area. And you're just going to learn how to create the content item. I call them content item shells. What do I mean by that? Let me go into a dummy course. So this is not a real course here. So I have 2 modules here. They're empty. And all I did, if I wanted to create a new module, actually I could just click on a new module and then I could say Unit 2 Assessments in Canvas. Ignore the spelling error. And then I have my module here. In the 2.5 created module assignment, you're going to be using your outline to create a content item shell. So with my outline, the very first item within the actual course, let me look at my modules here, was in my outline, it was 0.1 welcome read. And when I sit there, anything that I label read, that is a content page, an item your students need to read. So when I'm going here on my modules, if I wanted to see it for my getting started orientation, for this actual module, I'm going to click on the plus button and I would say add. I don't want to add an assignment. This is a mistake a lot of instructors did. They just went in here and just followed through it. You need to click on the drop-down menu and select content page. That's the item student needs to read. Then I would say new page, and then I would say 0.1 welcome read, in parentheses, read. And then I would just go through and repeat the process, going through my modules. I have all these other content pages I have to create. Now I have a discussion that I need to create. I would create a discussion. So I could click up here, and what number was that one? So 0.5. So I can click on my plus button, add a discussion. I'm going to say new topic, and I'll say 0.5 discussion. And then I call this graded or graded discussion, or just discussion if it's not graded. And then you would just repeat the process. You create all your content pages, you create all your discussions. If you wanted to do an assignment, you click here, you add assignment, then you'd say new assignment, or you could say new quiz. All you're doing is the shell. So when I say shell, if I click on this welcome area, there's nothing here. I haven't created anything. It's just a shell, a piece of work. Later on, you will add content to this assignment or this content page. But right now, it's just a shell. So that's what you'll be creating for your 2.5 created module assignment. And basically what you're doing is for the 0.7, so when we're looking at this, with the outline that you submitted, this outline that you submit by this Sunday at 11:59 p.m., you're going to use this to replicate Module 1, so typically an orientation or whatever you feel, however your layout is done, and then your Unit 1 module, and you're just going to create the shell items. Does that make sense? Let me make sure that was good. Then the next item that you will do is you will actually create a content page. So for 2.6, the 2.6 hands-on assignment, you will create a content page. So I created my 0.1 welcome in my module assignment. Now I can go back here. Let me go back to my modules. I can go back to my welcome page. I can click on this. I can edit it. And then I can fill out my content and write this page up as is. Now, keep in mind, like I said, when we're doing these assignments outside of what we have for the rubrics, what you create must be applicable to an actual course. We can't just sit here and say, welcome, this is a content page, and then click submit. So for the sake of example and what's laid out in the rubric, that would complete the requirements of the assignment, but it's not applicable to an actual course. So if you do it and it's not applicable, you're going to get marked on that. And then the final thing, as far as the key part with the 2.7 choose a homepage assignment, it focuses on this front page here. How we have things laid out here. Now, on the home page, if you look at my home page in my course, there is a link here that says choose a home page. And you're going to learn about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in that assignment, different options of a home page that you can actually have. You could have course activity stream that just shows you all the activity that's gone into the course. You could have your course modules as the homepage, an assignments list, or syllabus. I would recommend, and in the video that is shown in that assignment, choose a homepage, I choose a pages as front page as the homepage. It might not make sense now, but when you watch the video that I show, and I'll show you that video. Let me go to that video right now. Let me get out of here. Modules. This is choose a homepage. The video that I'm talking about here is this one. I'm not going to play it now, but this one I show you how to create a more simplified version of the page you see in my course. That is the one I would recommend doing. It's the most flexible and it gives you the most freedom as far as how you want to communicate to your students. You could do the other ones. If you were to do any of the other items or homepage options, I would choose a course modules page, but there'll be some certain requirements that you will need to make on your final project to be able to meet this. The best one that will make it easy for you on your final project will be the pages as front page one, and that video that I just showed you will clarify that. That about covers it for me. So looking at our calendar, and this is also for people that are going to be watching the video. All of our content work is due by Sunday the 5th, 11:59 p.m. So we got a 0.5 discussion, 0.7 assignments, the 1.4 edit profile assignment, and then you have your announcements, the quiz, discussion, and then you have your outline too that you need to submit. Those are all due by this Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Actually, the 1.5 assignment at announcement, that's actually the first thing that you would be doing in your GC training sandbox. Yeah. But the modules, yeah. Unit 2 is probably one of the more important items because it's going to set 3 and 4 up all together. And then also, so since Diane, she's the lead instructor, she's the one that's going to does all the grading and watching all the course online. You can also work ahead. If you get, like on this weekend, you get Unit 1. If you want to get a jump on Unit 2, you can go ahead and get a jump on Unit 2. As long as she's graded your Unit 1 work, you can jump on Unit 2, grade that. When she's graded that, you can jump on Unit 3. But she won't grade Unit 3 until the following, when Unit 3 actually starts. So if you want to get a jump ahead on your work, you actually can do that. So that about covers it. If there are no other questions, I thank you for coming, and we will see you online. Talk next week. So our next one too, our Unit 2 is going to be on Wednesday the 8th. Same time, same room, and I'm going to go into more detail on the modules, the content pages, and the home page. That'll be the main coverage of what we'll be talking about there. I'm going to hit stop sharing.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Definitely coming